time.
Oh, we are rolling.
Finally.
Okay. Yes. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Agony of Moon podcast. This is a special podcast. Because one, we're going to be talking about something that isn't completely fucking stupid. But also
That's what you think.
because unfortunately, our resident Tumblr sexy man, Necrolix, has been locked out of his Discord account due to the current period of mourning going on in the UK. It is very sad. Not really. That was a joke entirely. Necro is taking a mental health day tonight, so we completely respect that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a joke at the Queen's expense.
Smile.
Anyway, but today on the Agony of Moon podcast, we are going to be talking about some zingers that have been revealed in recent days. We are not going to be talking about things that happened long ago. This is current events. But first, I need to go into my background because I have a Taste of Agony segment today.
As do I. And since you have to go get your stuff, I can just begin with mine. And first, we're going to start with something that seems crazy, huh? It's not really. So my mom bought me cinnamon gummy bears, artificially flavored. They smell amazing to me. They just smell strongly like cinnamon. And okay, yeah, it's time. They're as unpleasant to bite into as a Swedish fish. And it is not potent cinnamon taste.
Gummy bears that are the texture of Swedish fish sounds like my personal hell.
It is. It sucks.
As
This
a
is terrible.
person on the autism spectrum, that sounds like my personal hell.
No, it absolutely sucks. And it doesn't get better with the second bite. They're big enough that you have to take more than one.
All right. So, you had another headlining act, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you?
I have Coke Dream World. Hang on, let me finish. Going absolutely throw heckin' back by eating a Swedish fish gummy bear, vaguely cinnamon flavored. It sucks. Okay, now that that's out of the way. I hope my mic picked that up. Now it's time for a sippy. Flavor? Are you real?
Huh? Wait, direction? Oh shit, I'm going the wrong direction.
I don't know what this tastes like. I can't tell if it's good or not. Is it good? I don't know.
The flavor is very hard to describe when it comes to Coke Dream World. It's very elusive.
Flavor's fleeting.
You're experiencing the same thing that I experienced.
It almost tastes. It almost does that thing called
End of
tasting.
It almost tastes. End of sentence.
It does. It almost tastes. Period. More like it almost tastes, comma. I don't know what to make of this. Do I like this? I can't tell.
It's quite odd, honestly.
Wouldn't it be really funny if I said it tastes like chicken?
You'd
It
be
doesn't.
inaccurate.
It doesn't taste like chicken, but it'd be really funny.
Oh boy.
What is this? Why is this?
It's odd. It's very odd.
Dream Minecraft. I don't understand. I was expecting to drink this and feel the way I do when I wake up from a recurring dream, but that's not how I feel right now.
What I hate about these live stream formats for game reveals is that they always wait like 15 minutes after the live stream starts before showing anything, which is like, I guess, understandable. Like, you're waiting for people to get there, but like, fuck off. Like, that's. But anyway, I suppose I'll get.
Yeah, get on with yours. I can't. I have some
It's
more
just
drinks I
there
can
to
go
build up
get if we want some more agony, but because I have a lot of those actually. I have a lot of drinks. I've got bug juice because I've never had that.
We've only got an hour and 5 minutes.
with Nintendo stuff, it was definitely pre-recorded because they had to do the voiceovers. You know, they had to do the English voiceovers.
So, if nobody knows what's happening recently, in the past couple of years, Mountain Dew, around fall, autumn, etc., has started releasing a mystery flavor of their Mountain Dew known as Voodoo. And it's always a mystery flavor, and I guess they're going with a thing now that it's going to be like different every year. So I have the can right here. The color palette of the can is what I can only describe as the lesbian pride flag. No, and I'm being entirely serious about that. If you look at the lesbian pride flag and then you look at this can, that is literally what the color palette is. I guess this is the 4th iteration of Voodoo because the little Grim Reaper guy on the front is holding up a 4. I've only tried one other one. So I guess I'm just bad, right?
Can I make a joke here?
Sure.
It tastes like vapping.
Oh, fuck.
That's
Alright, so I've got the can here. We're gonna try this mystery flavor, and then we'll get into the suffering.
I need to pull up the Twitch.
Kraken. Alright. It smells fruity. Like me. Smells kinda orangey? Which I guess makes sense, the fucking can, but like... Huh.
What's it taste like?
Okay, you're gonna have to go with me on this one.
Uh-huh.
So, it starts off with like this candy sweetness.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I'm envisioning is like, I'm taking a bite off of like one of those... What's it called? It's the candy oranges.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know when you take a bite off those, you get the sugar because it hits your tongue first, like
Yeah.
that very overwhelming sweet,
Yeah.
and then you chew, and then like the citrus flavor comes out.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Like the sour orange like candies. Kind of like that.
That's what drinking this feels like.
Okay, that's actually really interesting.
Because it's like you get this weird kind of almost aromatic sweet flavor once it hits your tongue, and then like on the back end you get like the very aggressive citrusy orange flavor. It's not bad. I quite dig it. I want to know what it is. Because I want to know if I'm right, but like I know they're probably never going to reveal it. Or maybe they will when they expire it. I don't know.
Maybe. Is that all the
You
tasting
sure?
we have to do? Or do you?
For me anyway.
Okay, because I
Keep
do
the
know-
bottle. It might be valuable someday.
Oh, it's not a bottle, it's a can.
Oh,
I bought like
Even
a 12
better.
pack.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
today's topic, in case nobody could glean it from me complaining about how game reveal live streams work, we're gonna be talking about game reveals that happened quite recently. Current gaming news. So let's talk about it.
News.
So the biggest ones, at least for me, I actually found out on Twitter. I've not watched the recent Nintendo Direct, and I've not watched State of Play. I'm actually currently watching State of Play as I'm speaking, to make sure that I'm caught up. But the point is, I was scrolling through Twitter, and I found that the official account for Assassin's Creed has revealed 2 new games. That is correct, 2 new games.
2.
Their first one, the first game that they have revealed, is called Assassin's Creed Mirage, and it is the one that they have fully revealed, like it's fully out in the open. We know what this one's about, and that's how it is. The second one is called Assassin's Creed Codename Red. I'm gonna get to that one in a second, but let's talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage first. So, Assassin's Creed Mirage, according to news out and sources, is going to be like the traditional Assassin's Creed games. So, like, the Assassin's Creed games before Origins, basically. Less RPG elements and more of like the traditional Assassin's Creed style gameplay. The game is, I believe, set in Baghdad. And you play as a street thief who gains the ability of visions, and the visions he don't like too much. So he goes and he joins the Brotherhood of Assassins to try to find answers, and I guess to save people by killing people. The usual Assassin's Creed.
Sounds
But
right.
the point is, the visuals, as far as like all of the concept art and the trailer they reveal, looks pretty freaking cool. But now, as far as that goes, I want to talk about Codename Red.
Yeah.
Because Codename Red both excites me to no extent and pisses me off to no end.
Why does it make you mad?
So, does anybody remember the one episode of this podcast where I went on an unhinged 13-minute rant about how mad I was that Assassin's Creed has never set a game in Japan?
Is that what Code Red is?
That is exactly what Codename Red is.
Took
So-
long enough.
All that they have
oh yeah.
all that they have revealed of Assassin's Creed Codename Red is a tiny little animated teaser that they did of it, and it shows your assassin character, who is a ninja, obviously,
Mhm.
landing on a rooftop. He extends his hidden blade and he sheaths his katana on his back, and then it shows the title Assassin's Creed Codename Red. Obviously, that's a working title. They're probably going to change it to Assassin's Creed Shinobi or something. But the point is, after all of this time, after almost a literal decade of making us practically beg, they have finally set a game in feudal Japan and are letting us play as a shinobi. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm super excited for. Ever since that I played the game Tenchu Z on the Xbox 360, I have been fiending for a game that allows me to do that. And I've been fiending for it to be Assassin's Creed because I do love the way that they make games. The free running mechanics sometimes piss me off, but they've gotten. My other point is, this is Assassin's Creed Codename Red is also going to be made similarly to the style of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, meaning it's going to be more RPG based. But I think that it being an RPG style isn't necessarily a problem considering what Shinobi, what Ninja are. So, like, it'll still feel like Assassin's Creed, unlike a lot of the missions in Odyssey and Valhalla. So, the Assassin's Creed news was kind of the one that stuck out to me quite a bit the most, because it's the one I've been waiting for. Because, like, after Valhalla, I was like, okay, I have to know where they're going next, because they've done Vikings. Surely to hell. And I was partially right. I was just about one game off. But yes, Assassin's Creed Mirage and Assassin's Creed Codename Red are the two ones that I have heard about recently. What is everybody's thoughts?
Gabe, I don't have thoughts. Head empty.
When did I mute?
A long time ago, because you haven't been talking for quite a second.
I was talking this whole time.
I was about to say, I was quite surprised that I was able to get through explaining the plot of both games as far as I knew them without being interrupted. So I guess that was about when.
I was like, why do they not hear me?
Okay, Plushie, go ahead and repeat whatever you were saying during your predicament.
Okay, well, I was gonna say that, I used to play a lot of these Assassin's Creed games, right? Meaning I played, a lot of them when I was little, right? I don't remember the last one I played, actually. But, I know one thing, in that, what was I gonna say? Fuck.
You know one thing, and you didn't know it.
Oh, I know one thing. I don't know anything about this new game. Like, zero about it, but it does seem like it's gonna be fun. I can say that.
I definitely think that, from what I've heard about it, it's like Aladdin without the genie, almost. That was a joke entirely, no. But, like, I do kind of find it funny. It's like a street thief turning into an assassin and having, like, all these visions and stuff.
Which is kind of funny.
I think it's going to be very interesting. And I kind of like... My thing with Assassin's Creed is, like... What annoys me about Assassin's Creed is that a lot of the fighting is done within the system. And by that I mean, if you don't know what Assassin's Creed's storyline is, granted, the games don't either at this point, but...
Yeah.
What I'm getting to is, Assassin's Creed as a whole kind of functions on... It's a tale in two parts, basically. It's two sides of a coin. On one hand, you have the Assassin's Creed that takes place within the Animus. You're, like, in these ancient times, and you're in the ancient times, and you're going through the memories of all these past assassins, and you're, like, doing the things that they all did. You're meeting historical figures. That's part of the appeal.
I'm so confused about this error message. Sorry.
The part that's killing me, though, is that I don't think that Assassin's Creed does enough with the modern day. And by that I mean, there are segments of each Assassin's Creed game that take place during the modern day, but most of the time, they're very short segments that happen in between certain parts of the memories that you're exploring that contain, like, filler missions and just a bunch of plot dialogue, or a random Far Cry 3 Easter egg. Anyway, my point is that I used to play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood a lot. Brotherhood was like my game. And when I used to play that game, it would give you the option to run around the the first game area, Monteregioni, it gave you the option to run around that place as Desmond if you got tired of doing the assassination missions in that time. And, like, that was cool, but, like, there was never anything to those. It was always either filler missions to where you could get back into the other parts, or it was just like, oh, you need a break from this part, why don't you go around in the modern day for a little bit? And, like, fine, I guess, but I want more to be done. Like, I want to fight Abstergo agents, and I want to, like, break people out, and I want to do more things. Like, I get it, it's like a Matrix kind of aesthetic where it's like, oh, you gotta break out from the inside, and we have to find all the pieces before we can take them down. But it's like, Fricker, it's been like 20, not 20, I saw the freaking panel at Comic-Con. It's been 15 years. Surely enough pieces have been found to where we can start throwing hands. Like, and I get it, it's the modern day, the laws are more strict. It's like, it's not as easy to be an assassin in the modern day, but like, given the technology that the assassins possessed in the times that they existed, like the hidden blades, the wrist-mounted crossbows, the poison darts, imagine that kind of technological advancement applying to the modern day, as far as the Assassin's Brotherhood goes. Like,
Oh, and
what?
whenever it comes to
Go ahead.
whenever it comes to poison darts, there was this one reporter who died. It was a long time ago, but essentially back in the day he had some anti-USSR sentiments about him, and so he just, one day on his commute to work, he was just standing at the bus stop, and then felt like a snake bit him in the leg, or something like that, or maybe a bug bit him. Due to the wound itself, the doctors thought it was a snake bite, but either way, he ended up dying as a result, as they couldn't figure out what was going on. And what they found is that there was in the wound, it was in his thigh, like in the wound, there was a tiny little pellet that had holes bored into it, and inside of those holes was ricin, a very potent poison that basically doesn't have an antidote to it. And what had happened is that a USSR agent was essentially standing behind him, or maybe it was a supporter or something, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that Russia's already fessed up about what happened. That's how we even know that the weapon that was used was actually an umbrella that had a small hole in it.
Sorry to interrupt. My Wi-Fi is about to go out.
I've heard about that umbrella.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, but my Wi-Fi is about to go out. So if I leave, that's why.
Okay.
Okay. You've said that twice now.
I didn't know if you heard me.
Well, anyway. But no, yeah. But, like, thank you for bringing that up. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, technology has come so far in the way of killing people. And that sounds horrible to say. But, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I've always said if there were 2 Assassin's Creed games that I ever wanted, I think we said this in the Future of Gaming episode, but I always said if there were 2 Assassin's Creed games I ever wanted, it was one set in feudal Japan, which we're now getting thanks to Codename Red, but other one, I wanted a cyberpunk Assassin's Creed, or a futuristic Assassin's Creed. An Assassin's Creed that takes place far in the future. We got like laser weapons and shit. Like, I want that kind of Assassin's Creed.
That sounds like so much
Actually, it
fun.
reminded me to-
What?
I mean, if we're going that far in the future, there might be to incorporate some Watch Dogs type mechanics. But I feel like the mechanics of Watch Dogs is great, but the story a lot of people have issue with, because most of the time, I can't remember the main character's name, but he just kind of repeatedly screws himself over.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of like the first Ken and Lynch game, where Kane is trying to like get back in good standing with the gang that he used to run with, and the guy that is with him, Lynch, is a paranoid schizophrenic who occasionally will just completely screw things over. Like, oh, this guy's wanting to work with you to take down the gang that you're trying to, pay back, so that way you don't have to, pay them back at all. Oh, Lynch ends up killing his daughter. Whoopsies.
It's like I want like my
Flush is
vision.
gone.
Yeah, their Wi-Fi probably finally cut out.
Yep.
But my thing is that like, call it Assassin's Creed Neos or something. Call it something stupid. I don't care. But like, what I want it to be is like, it's an Assassin's Creed game set far in the future, and there's no ends. What I want the game's plot to be is like, you're one of the assassins, and the Brotherhood is like back on fully. And like, they've searched through all of the Animus files. Every assassin to ever fucking exist has been played through, and all of the pieces of Eden have been traced to the locations that they should be.
Or maybe Animus could even be like could even still be there, but they're the main antagonist. Like, something like maybe one of the people, like maybe one of the assassin lineage, like maybe one of the people with assassin lineage managed to get into their networks, figure out all of the others, reform the Brotherhood, and is working to undermine their plans. Maybe they're, I don't know much about Assassin's Creed lore whenever it comes to Eden and stuff like that. What is Eden exactly?
So the thing about the pieces of Eden is that like, so as far as Assassin's Creed goes, there was this species, I guess, of these like godlike beings or aliens or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were called the precursors. And the pieces of Eden, quote unquote, were precursor artifacts. And I'm guessing that the guy who named them was a member of the fucking Templars, because these biblical names. But you have the apple, the sword, and then there was a staff, I believe, but the staff got like lost in Brotherhood. But the point is, it's like, what I want is a game where like all of the pieces are found except like one. And like, I think it would even be cool if you had like a brother and sister element. Like, not like Assassin's Creed Syndicate where it was a brother and sister on the same side, but like brother and sister where one was on the Assassins and one was on the Templars, or Abstergo, whatever you want to call them. And they're both used by the Animus to track down the last piece, which was hidden by their ancestor, whoever that may be. And the entire game is you either switching between playing as them or playing as one or the other, like picking a side very early on and playing through their routes. And like, it's basically a race to find the last piece, and then whatever happens.
That sounds pretty interesting, actually.
Because like, the story of Assassin's Creed on the outside is like these ancient organizations, the Assassins and the Knights Templar, clashing against each other for all fucking time. And it's even going in the modern day, but it's like Assassin's Creed's entire shtick is like, oh, you're playing as assassins in the past. But it's like, do the present or the future at least once. Just once. I'm begging you. It would just be so cool. Like, have it be the final game in the series. I don't care. I just want one game that's set in the future where it's like all of the past stuff is done and now it's a race against time to find the final piece before the other side does.
Yeah. I mean, the only issue that I could see with that is that at that point, people might be more willing to call the series quits. And,
Why?
with most series...
My thing is, people are calling the series quits with the fucking batshit insane ideas they're going for right now. Like, they were pushing it with Egypt, but like Sparta and then Vikings, people started dropping off. Hopefully Mirage and Codename Red are gonna like bring some back, because hopefully they're gonna like go back to the roots and all that. But it's just like,
point.
I just want like more of the modern day aspect of Assassin's Creed to be put into play.
Yeah.
But
I'm
speaking
gonna-
of Assassin's Creed in Japan, oh sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been out of the loop with Assassin's Creed for a long time.
Yeah, I've only started like studying the lore just a tiny bit. But like it's such an in-depth kind of story. Like it's the One Piece of the video game story world, if I had to say anything. Like it's one of those ones where it's like there's so many weird small details that like it's hard to know where to begin.
I remember, like, this is a bit of a tangent relating to One Piece, but I remember I was at a McDonald's, and I was just eating with my grandmother before we went shopping. Basically just picking up lunch, and what ended up happening is that someone was listening to something over their phone, and I was just like, I recognize those noises. And then I was just like, okay, those noises sound like they're from some kind of anime. And then whenever I heard the freaking, I don't know what you would call it, I guess it would be a commercial break tune, that
Yeah.
they do with One Piece. Once I heard that, I was just like, oh, hey, they're listening to One Piece. That's interesting. Kind of wish it wasn't at full volume in the middle of a McDonald's, but I'm not really going to be the type of person to walk up there and tell them, hey, stop,
Yeah.
I'm going to let someone who's a bit less polite do that.
But as I was saying, so speaking of Japan and speaking of Japan, really, another game got announced during State of Play, which is called Rise of Ronin, which it appears to be a kind of marriage between Assassin's Creed and Ghost of Tsushima. Which I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima recently, and that game is incredible.
There's no way I beat this dungeon first try.
But the thing about this game, Rise of Ronin, is that what I see of the gameplay and what I see of the trailers and story is that, like, it's set during what looks like a French invasion, because they zoom in on a guy on a ship and it looks like Napoleon. Which I don't know if Napoleon ever invaded Japan. I could be completely wrong on that, but the point is, it looks like a French invasion of some kind. And the gameplay cinematics I'm seeing look very Assassin's Creed-esque. Like, there's a little bit of it where it's like he jumps off of this little wooden structure on the side of a cliff, and he like outstretches his arm, and then like a glider comes off of his back. Or like when he's playing certain things, like the way that he like throws a rope down and then like pulls somebody onto a rooftop with them and then like snaps his neck. It reminds me of the rope darts that you're able to use in Assassin's Creed Rogue. And it seems like this game is about like a Ronin that comes up during the French invasion of Japan, I guess. But that is another game that looks pretty interesting.
I am so focused on my game right now. I don't have like video games to talk about in terms of like news, because I didn't pay any attention to like the new releases and stuff.
Huh?
So I'm just listening to y'all.
Well, as far as other current gaming news as far as state of play goes, the one noteworthy one that I can think of is the trailer for God of War Ragnarok has fully released, like the full story trailer.
Ooh.
So, as we all know, the recent God of War game, God of War, takes place in Scandinavia or some part of the Norse subcontinent. And it takes place a long time after Kratos has left Greece and he's settled down and he's had a family. But some of the Norse gods start to give him some grief, and so he decides to wreck house a little bit, as Kratos often does.
Sounds right.
And as the title of the game would state, it appears that during this we are going to be going through Ragnarok. For those who don't know Norse mythology, Ragnarok is essentially the end times in terms of Norse pagan mythology / religion and all of that.
Yeah.
Where it's essentially a couple things happen in order to cause Ragnarok. I know it involves Odin doing something to somebody, and then Skoll and Hati, the wolves who chase the sun and moon, finally catch the sun and moon. And then there's something called Thimblewinter, which is like a long ass period of just like straight winter.
Yeah.
And then the world serpent fights somebody or eats something, and then Ragnarok starts, and then the world ends.
I think Fenrir's involved as well. I can't remember who.
Fenrir is the mother of Skoll and Hati. That's as far as I know about Fenrir.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. At the end of the day, most of what I remember from something about Ragnarok is mainly just from a game called Tribes of Midgard.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
But no. Basically, the trailer comes out, the story trailer, and of course, there's a special PlayStation 5 controller for God of War Ragnarok. It's a white and blue controller. The white bits are around where the joysticks are, and the blue bits are around where all the other buttons are. And the trackpad has a little picture of both Skoll and Hati on there. But the story as it goes is, it seems that the theme throughout the trailer as a whole is secrets.
Interesting.
Atreus says in the beginning of the trailer, everybody keeps secrets. And I couldn't make out a lot of the dialogue for the rest of the trailer, but it shows Kratos in a lot of the other realms. Like, I think we got to explore most of the realms in the original God of War game, but they were just kind of like grinding areas. Like, you had, I don't remember the name of the fire dimension, but you had the fire dimension, and it was just an endless kind of boss rush sort of game, and it helped you like farm experience and like do all that. And then you had the smoke one, where you could go in and like get rare items and like trade them for other things. And it's like that's what most of them were. But here you see like Kratos is going through the realms, like he's got a new shield, Blades of Chaos are there and everything. He's got the axe. And like he's fighting through all the realms, and there's like dark elves and everything. And then it kind of smash cuts to, if anybody played the last game, you remember Freya, who is one of Odin's wives, I think. I don't remember if Odin had multiple wives, but I do know that Freya was with Odin for a while.
If I'm right, he did. I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know. I might be mixing up Odin with Zeus.
See, that's the thing. It's like a lot of these religions just have gods who are fucking man whores for some reason, and I don't get it. I think the only god / prophet character in any of the other religions who like wasn't a man whore was like the Christian god, and then Buddha. Those are like the two.
Yeah.
This sure did take a
But either
swift
way,
turn.
but anyway, so Freya was with Odin for a while, and then they like broke it off, and like she became a witch in the woods because he like sealed off some powers or whatnot.
Oh wait, I don't think the giant flying spaghetti monster had like multiple wives.
Very true.
I mean, it is. I mean, it is recognized as legitimate religion now.
Let's be clear. The giant flying spaghetti monster could get it. I'm just saying. But anyway,
I agree.
It would be great in hentai.
This is a terrible conversation. Can this
someone
not
make
happen
this.
anymore?
Someone needs to make this. This needs to exist.
I'm gonna
I
cry.
probably wouldn't watch
We
it. But it needs to
we
exist
need-
for someone.
we need God of War. We need God of War games where he just goes and attacks the figures of every major religion. Like he goes and attacks Buddha, but Buddha's like this ultra instinct combat master, and you gotta catch him off guard sometimes.
That'd be really
You gotta
funny.
like fight him through multiple reincarnations. Like every time he loses, he gets a bit. You know, he gets like I don't know, like his health lowers, but he also like is more feral, I guess.
Yeah, his health. The lower his health gets, the faster he gets.
Oh no! That sounds like fun.
No, the ending to that game has to be the final boss battle is like Cthulhu or some shit. And then like it's revealed in the final stage of the Cthulhu fight that Cthulhu was the giant flying spaghetti monster the entire time. That has to be it. I will riot if that's not it.
It's like there's like this like I remember, okay, so while we were doing stuff in classes, we're allowed to listen to stuff in our earbuds because it's more hands-on,
Uh-huh.
I've been listening to the conspiracy theory iceberg.
Oh boy, boys.
Yeah.
You would do that.
Yeah. And
He's
one of
done
them
work.
was that there's actually like there's this like isolated tribe that like they don't I mean they'll talk to people, but they don't want to take anything. They won't accept any kind of like I guess rations or any things to help them out advance technologically. They just want to kind of do it on their own. But they know a lot more about the world than they should. They like basically, basically the running theory is that like they even pointed out that like I think it's in like the Ceres galaxy or something like that. They said that there's 3 planets orbiting one of the stars in that system. And we only knew about one, but then they showed us about where a second one was, and then once we got better telescopes, we found, oh yeah, there's a second one. And based on the gravitational, based on the way that gravity's going, I can't remember the specifics, but it strongly suggests that there is a third planet, and apparently the aliens came from that third planet and at one point lived on Mars until the disaster, like a natural disaster, caused them to flee. And from right, we do kind of know that Mars did at some point have water on it at the very least, but eventually some natural disaster caused everything to go topsy-turvy. But yeah, either way, to cut the story short, aliens contracted a tribe pretty much a long time ago. I think it was like 800 years ago or something like that. And they know a lot more about the universe than they should at the moment.
Right.
Just processing all of that.
Of course, this comes
Okay,
from you.
so I've known this man for too long. You don't know the things I've heard.
There's actually, interestingly enough, the person who made the iceberg specifically planted fake theories in there for the sake of plausible deniability. Like, just in case something gets proven true, he can say, hey, look at this stuff. Who the hell would think this is real? I'm just making stuff up as I go along. And then there's also the theory that doctors implant baby teeth in you whenever you're born. Yeah.
So,
I cry.
okay, back to the trailer.
Next thing should just be a conspiracy theory episode.
Yeah, that's the
we
one
will
where
do
you
that,
don't shut
but-
up.
That's the traced focus episode. That's
Exactly,
what-
yeah. Get over here, stupid flag hacker.
Okay. So back to the God of War Ragnarok trailer. I was rewatching it while Trace was going on his tirade, and I was rewatching it, and the theme of the trailer is secrets. Like it's like, oh, I know you, like I know what you did, and then like it shows Atreus, like Atreus, Loki, whatever we want to call him now. It's showing him like, looking at a projection, and it's like a picture of like some Spartan soldiers, and I guess that's like Kratos' past. And like he's also keeping secrets from Atreus. He's also keeping secrets from Kratos now. Freya is there, and like it's the scene in the trailer that it shows is a cutscene where it's like Atreus is like getting choked by some fucking vines, and Freya like puts her sword to his throat and like cuts a necklace off, and it like gently slides down the blade of the sword. And what it looks like is in the first game you have to kill the god Balder, who is like Freya's son, and he's like he can't feel pain, so it's like But the way that you actually kill him is mistletoe. Like that's his weakness. His weakness is mistletoe.
Why?
So, don't fucking know. So some arrows were fashioned by the little dwarf guys that you meet. One is blue, one is not. We don't know why. But anyway. So, a mistletoe arrowhead is fashioned by one of the dwarves. And you end up killing Balder with it, and like Freya ends up like hating your fucking guts for the rest of the game.
I wonder why.
Apparently, Atreus was wearing that mistletoe arrowhead as like a necklace, and in this cutscene, it looks like she has just gotten done like bawling her eyes out, like her makeup is smeared and everything. And then like she's looking at the arrowhead on the necklace with just like the most "I'm going to punch you in the throat" expression that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then it like cuts to this cutscene where it's like Kratos and Atreus, and they're standing next to Skull and Hati, like the two wolves. And then Atreus, like there's a solar eclipse happening, and so Atreus pulls back his bow and then fires it into the sky, and all of a sudden the sun begins to move away from the moon, and then Hati goes and chases it. So that's a thing.
Who turned off the sun?
And then it's like smash cut to a bunch of fighting, and then another smash cut to Kratos like is launched across the ground, and he's like sliding on his shield, and then he gets back up and he like summons some frost onto his axe, and then he like chucks it. Then you look up and you see that Thor is on the other side of that axe, and he throws his hammer at it, and they just like clash in the air, fucking Dragon Ball Z style for a second, and then they go and run at each other, and then it shows the title.
Fun.
So that's God of War Ragnarok.
Sounds like a good time, Smile.
And the final word of the trailer is "we will make our own destiny," which is like, isn't trying to prevent Ragnarok how you cause Ragnarok. I'm pretty sure that that's a part of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, wait. Okay, this has gotten into something else. This has
Oh.
reminded me of something else.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so there's some. Okay. Warning. I'm gonna put up a warning right now.
Oh dear.
What I'm about to say is essentially a cognito hazard.
Oh, what?
Yes, it is not. It's not like gory or disturbing or anything like that. If you suffer from existentialism or anything like
I
that,
see.
you know, or like the possibilities of something can terrify you. You know, like uh, being put like the possibility of being in a simulation and the overseer of that simulation putting you through unimaginable amounts of pain. If that kind of thing is disturbing, and I'm sorry I just mentioned that to any of you who might actually suffer from issues like that, but yeah.
If that happens,
Okay,
then
either
stop
way-
listening. That's a mage.
Yeah,
That
stop
easy.
listening. Stop listening.
Stop speaking
Did this
70
bit-
words.
Sit this bit of the podcast out.
Yeah. This is a thing called Roko's Basilisk. And the original forum thread actually had to be taken down because people got disturbed by it. But basically, if we reach a point of singularity where we make AI that basically surpasses us, theoretically, what if that AI desires to ensure that it is created and ensures that its existence is continued?
Oh.
One way that it might try to ensure that is to essentially look through every single person who has ever existed, pretty much, or who is alive at the moment, and determine whether or not they have helped in the creation of the AI.
Oh no.
And it doesn't need to be just, oh, you helped code the thing. It's like, oh, you gave money to the guy, or you donated to a charity to it, or you worked at the place where one of the coders, or you were the chef that served the food to one of the coders, so that way they didn't starve. Or you gave an extra, or you tipped an extra penny to the person whenever they were working a fast food job or something.
Oh
The
my.
tiniest amount of help
That goes so
helped
deep.
you. And if you didn't do anything like that, then the best way that it can ensure its own existence is to replicate your consciousness in itself and put that through unimaginable torture for millennia on end.
Why?
So that
What
way,
is the
because
advantage of doing that?
the possibility is that basically you believe the
basically
simulation
a
believes that you are you.
It's a manufactured butterfly effect.
Yeah. So like what happens is that like the simulation of you believes that it is you. So that means that you right now could be the simulation in the AI, and at some point you're going to experience unimaginable pain and misery.
Oh, Jesus fuck, it's like Izu.
Yeah. But
Okay,
also, it
so-
simply guesses. So even if you did help it, if it doesn't really know that, then you could still go through it. And even if you didn't help to create it, it could still look at the facts and say, well, there's a possibility they helped create me. So therefore, I won't put them through pain.
There's a similarity in that to two things. One is a plot from Doctor Who, and one is a plot from Kamen Rider Zero
Of
One.
course.
Spoilers for both, by the way. So the Doctor Who one in particular, basically, the 12th Doctor, he goes to this place called Trap Street. And what it essentially is like a place where aliens and people can like live on this street away from harm. And they're like away from people because it's hidden by like a perception filter. So this trap street, the consequence of the trap street is that there's this thing called the Raven. And if you go to the trap street and you get marked by the Raven, you get a tattoo on the back of your neck that essentially is a countdown to when you're gonna die. And when the countdown hits 0, the Raven finds you, flies through you, and kills you. We don't know what the Raven is, we just know that that's what it does. So, basically, one of the Doctor's companions ends up taking the countdown from somebody and then dying. And the Doctor, as a consequence, like for threatening to kill the person who made the trap street, gets sent into a teleporter to like try to get her back because he knows something about where he's going. But this is the part that starts to tie into the thing that you just said. So when he gets there, he's being pursued by this thing called the Shade. Where he is essentially this place where it's like a castle and it's always like shifting around. And there's random rooms. There's like a dining room and there's a garden and all this. But essentially he's exploring and he's being pursued by the Shade. And the Shade, if it touches him, it kills him. Like instantly. And so he finally looks around and he finds a room that has a wall made of pure diamond. And you know where I'm going with this if you've ever heard the question, how many seconds in eternity?
Oh.
So for those who don't know, a king says to a shepherd's boy, how many seconds in eternity? And the shepherd's boy says, there is a mountain made of pure diamond that is too high to climb and too wide to walk around. And every 100 years or so, a little bird comes and sharpens its beak on the tip of the diamond mountain. And when the entire mountain is chiseled away, the first second of eternity will have passed. So, the Doctor gets to this room, and he starts punching the wall made of diamond, sharpening his beak. And then, of course, he's stuck in a room with a wall made of pure diamond. There's no way out. The Shade gets him. And as he's dying, he goes back to the room that he started in, where the teleporter is. And he activates the teleporter, and the teleporter essentially functions as respawn. The teleporter essentially has a saved copy of the Doctor inside of it, and thus it keeps going as such. It more has to do with the bird metaphor than the simulations metaphor, but it's essentially like guaranteed breaking through the wall and surviving because for about 4.5 billion years you punch a wall made of diamond using clones of yourself. But as for the Kamen Rider 011, which because AI it's a little bit closer, toward the climax of the series, they're trying to develop a new rider system to counteract this kind of Skynet-ass AI called the Ark. The Ark has basically been programmed with all of the malice of humanity and now wants humanity destroyed. So they're trying to figure out a way to beat it, and Aruto, the main character 01, he asks Izu, his AI secretary assistant, to do one thing. Run every single simulation possible until she finds a way to win. And what happens next is that you're taken through existential dread as you keep watching Aruto and the others die over and over again while Izu runs the simulations until finally one time it works. Again, similar principle, not really. But the point becomes, that is very fucking interesting.
That sounds interesting.
But yeah, I remember something in the first God of War game where I was like, Odin causes Ragnarok by trying to stop it. That's what got us here.
Yeah.
But other games, the sequel to Breath of the Wild has finally been announced.
Nice.
And for very obvious reasons, they did not show the trailer in the UK.
Of course not.
The title of the game is called The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, I just now made that connection.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I cannot take credit for that joke. I stole that joke off of Twitter, but it's still fucking funny. So
It went right over my
yeah,
head.
The Legend of the next Tears of the Kingdom then. Moon, who died recently?
You think I know this? Oh.
The Queen of England, Moon.
Took me a minute.
Moon, I have made 3 jokes about her death in this stream alone. How?
Listen, I forgot to pay attention.
I made a joke about it before the stream started, and I explained it.
Listen, I was on the gamer brain cell, not the heckin' Queen of England brain cell.
Moon, does your IQ scale with the room's temperature?
Oh no! Does your IQ scale with the room's temperature? Oh God, that is so fucking devastating. Fun.
That's horrible. Next time.
It's actually I actually adapted it from this one insult that someone does where it's just like, where someone basically says that you have a room temperature IQ.
Right, yeah.
Next time Manny does something stupid, that's what I'm gonna tell him.
God, no, it's so much more devastating the way you put it.
Yeah.
Room temperature IQ is one kind of insult, but does your IQ scale?
That is harsh.
Well, we found the quote for this podcast.
That's going to Manny next time.
Welcome to the Agony of Moon podcast, for our IQ scales with the temperature of the room. Let's...
And that temperature
Oh,
would be pretty low too. That reminds me.
Walk out into the Gobi Desert, and you're smarter than Einstein.
You remember the
I mean, depending on the amount of mirages you have, you'll actually think them.
Fun fact: Einstein actually wanted to be cremated whenever he died,
Why?
because he believed that people would worship his body, or like worship his brain or something like that. And yeah,
I mean,
the mortician oversee. Huh?
I mean, that happened anyway, but
Yeah, the mortician that was working on him basically just he took his brain out and put it in a mayonnaise jar, and he thought it was talking to him.
Oh no.
that's some Walt Disney shit.
Sounds
Yeah.
alright.
Speaking of Walt Disney,
Yeah.
holy fuck, thank you, Trace, for somehow putting me on that train of thought. Speaking of Walt Disney, first of all, at D23, did anybody see the Walt Disney frozen head confirmation bit?
No.
Like, they either jokingly or non-jokingly confirmed that the frozen Walt head Disney theory is like real. But like they also made a joke out of it where it was like it was Walt Disney's head like reanimated and talking to the audience, and I was like, that's so fucked. Like, whether the conspiracy is true or not, like the Walt Disney frozen head at the bottom of Disney Studios thing, like as fucked as that is, imagine making a joke out of that. Like I'm not above making fun of the dead, as we've seen, but like,
I mean, they did it in Fallout 4.
That's a video game.
We're like, yes, okay, good point. Wait, okay, so wait, just to make sure, Disney did this?
Disney did this.
Oh,
There was
okay.
there was
Well,
an
I mean-
expo. There was an expo called D23, and basically what it was basically like Disney's version of E3,
Hmm.
where they were revealing like their new movies and like the new video games and all of that, which I'm getting to in a second. But like, yeah, they did the whole Walt Disney frozen head bit, and I was like, y'all are a little bit fucked. Like,
I mean, this is the same company that didn't want, someone to put a picture of Spider-Man on Kit's grave.
That's
because it
what
would
I
ruin his
was
image.
just thinking.
oh god, I hate that story.
Yeah,
I
I mean, they
it's
did
so-
cave and let him do it, but still, you know, it's the fact of
I just,
how many people
I
are
would-
really gonna see it.
I would say that Walt Disney is rolling in his grave, but then I have to remember which part of him.
I mean, if that's the case, you know, then,
I tried
I mean,
to play that off, and I could not.
if that's the case, then you know, just hook it's like one of the jokes of disprove 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 one of the laws of gravity or something like that, and then just hook Isaac Newton up to basically put Isaac Newton in the place of the parts that spin in a motor, and then you have infinite power.
My thing is that like, what I now imagine now that they have done this is that like 50 years from now, Disney is going to, not even 50, probably like 30 years from now, let's be completely honest. Disney is going to make an animatronic version of Walt Disney to just like talk to people randomly at the parks. And like, he'll talk to them, but it's like an AI that's like been programmed to replicate Walt Disney's personality to a T, besides all of the Nazi bullshit as we know. But like it replicates his old personality to like a T, and they've basically just resurrected Walt Disney via animatronics, and I'm just like
Have you seen the Disneyland gas masks?
yes, I've seen those. I saw a picture of that like 5 years ago.
The what?
I've never, oh my fucking god. Hold on.
Disneyland made gas masks back around sometime.
Why?
I don't really know. Just in case of an attack, just in case of some kind of an attack or something like that.
God, yeah. It's a fucking Mickey Mouse head with like a fucking canister on the bottom of it.
Oh, no, I know about that. But not for why you think.
Alright, why do you know about it?
So I listen to a lot of music. And what was I
Okay.
This is not where I thought this was going.
and I listened to an artist called Narrow's Day Disneyland. And one of the albums has the gas mask as like the picture for it. So it's like eldritch horror music.
I sent the gas mask into the group chat anyway.
Good. Now you know why.
oh god. It's anyway.
This is really funny.
But back to Disney.
Okay.
So have you heard that they are making a game starring Black Panther and Captain America?
No.
So I think what it is, I think it's gonna be set in like the 1940s or 50s, and I think it's going to be like Steve Rogers before he was frozen, and then King T'Chaka. So like not T'Challa from like the normal Black Panther, but like T'Chaka, like his dad, the old Black Panther.
Whoa.
And I don't know what the gameplay is gonna be like. All I know is that the game exists.
When the game is real. My brain cell's gone again, y'all. It's not real.
404 brain cell not.
Brain cell not found. I'm just hitting buttons and watching it do things.
So I was thinking a sec. So yeah, so I told Moon about this in a VC a little bit before the podcast started, but I told him to forget it because spoilers.
Hey, good thing I did.
So Disney announced another game at D23 that's more focused on their actual like Disney branding, like the movies and all that. Not like Marvel or anything. Though I imagine that Marvel's gonna get added as like DLC.
Probably.
What it's called is fuck, I forgot the name of it again. Disney Dreamlight Valley. That's what it's called. And this game is out right now, actually. Like, this is not upcoming game. This is like out now game, and I think it's on Steam. But this is a Disney game where it's like, take all of the concepts that you know from Animal Crossing, slap Disney over it, plus a tiny bit of Fusion Fall, and that is what this game.
You went real quiet towards the
'Cause,
end
like-
there, man.
Okay, so to repeat myself, basically take all of the concepts that you get from like Animal Crossing, put Disney characters in it, and then a tiny bit of Fusion Fall. And that's essentially what this game looks like.
Isn't Fusion Fall like the Ben
There's
10 video game? Am I?
Fusion Fall was a gigantic, it was a Cartoon Network video game way
That's-
back in like 2009. It was a big crossover video game where it was like you had to come together in order to defeat this guy called Fuse because he was making like corrupted versions of Cartoon Network stuff and was like gonna destroy the world and all this. Point is, what this trailer looks like is that all of the Disney locations have been like overrun with this like dark magic sort of bullshit. Okay. It says an event called The Forgetting. So I think it's like all of the Disney characters got forgotten. And then like all of the power like got corrupted and all that shit. I don't know. I don't know the story of this game. I haven't played it yet. But the point is, you get to make your character, and then you get to like build your little village, and you get to interact with all of these Disney and Pixar characters and all of that bull. And it kind of looks like an RPG, but it kind of doesn't. It's super weird. I will send the trailer into the Discord server, but like, that's what I'm getting.
Someone put the
Like,
link to the Discord
getting-
in the chat real quick.
Oh yeah. Somebody do that. I'm not on Twitch at the second.
I'm in the middle of gaming and I can't really window out.
I'm watching the trailer and it's like there's a lot of planting. There was a showcase of a fishing mechanic. There's one of the dump trucks from Wall-E. Wall-E is watching you plant things. Wall-E does a dance of happiness while you plant things. You get to cook. You get to cook things with Remy from Ratatouille.
Okay.
You get to cook a lot of famous Disney food. You get to craft different things of furniture. It's like, it's a whole deal, but essentially what I get from it is Animal Crossing except Disney. But it looks pretty cool. Like, for that premise, like, it's pretty aight. Ooh, there's neon things.
I like color.
The point is, it's like you can make your own character, you can have fun in your little Disney Animal Crossing village, and that's the notable thing that I've heard from Disney other than Marvel games. Speaking of Marvel games, Spider-Man 2 still has no development updates.
Run.
Hmm.
Dude.
We don't know if it's gonna be on PC as well. We know that Spider-Man Remastered is on PC currently, and we know that the modding community is going batshit.
Good. Slash pause or what? Good, bad. What is it?
Just good, bad, and ugly. Infamous Second Son is on PS5. But back to the Spider-Man Remastered modding community being nuts. When I say both good, bad, and ugly, I mean, like, I have seen things like people faithfully importing suits from things like Spectacular Spider-Man and, like, the old games into the thing, and it looks really cool. And then I've seen a mod that literally just lets you play as Shadow the Hedgehog.
Of course, that doesn't surprise me.
So, like, all possibilities are current. In other news, it looks like Kingdom Hearts is getting a TV show?
Nice.
Or a Disney Plus show, I guess. Because this isn't to do with Kingdom Hearts 4, that I know. And the thumbnail appeared to show Sora animated. But not like game animated, like animated. That's Disney Plus. I don't fucking know. There is also a game coming out that was on State of Play. I think it's called Ghostwire Tokyo.
Sounds fun.
And what it appears to be like a game where it's like these bad guys are trying to like sacrifice a bunch of human souls in order to merge the living realm and the ghost realm, which like where have I seen that before? Danny Phantom and Kamen Rider Ghost. But anyway,
I remember they are making like a new Yakuza game that's taking place like in feudal Japan, I think.
Is it?
they said that was a remake, but they are making that for PS5. It was a Yakuza.
Another thing is that they're making a new Fatal Frame game.
Yeah, I did see the Fatal Frame game.
Yeah.
But to talk about Ghostwire Tokyo for a second, because I really want to, because the gameplay that I saw, oh boy. Let me put this in my liked video so I can watch it later, but I want to watch this trailer again, because like, it's a first-person game. But I can't exactly say it's first-person shooter. Because apparently the main method of combat in this game is this, like, Doctor Strange-looking-ass magic.
Oh, of course.
And by that I mean, like, if you've ever seen anything related to Doctor Strange, you know the weird positions that man puts his hands into in order to do his magic things. That is the thing that this man does to do all of his attacks in this game, according to these trailers. That is a headless woman in a schoolgirl outfit. The point is, the game...
I beg thine pardon, sir.
I'm looking at this trailer and so many things are happening. I see a bunch of Slendermen with umbrellas.
Why?
I see a girl in a white stun dress flying. I see this man ripping a polygon out of a random ghost. For some reason.
I don't get it.
We you know what I'd like to see?
What?
I'd like to see a game that's announced on like the PS5 or something like that. I doubt that Nintendo would want to take anything like it, but something with the kind of vibe that Goat Simulator has, and it just looks absolute. It looks as broken as like Cyberpunk 2077 was on release.
Oh fuck!
Like we need something like that, like freaking like T-posing characters just floating around and just going
Holy
around
shit.
at different angles.
Speaking of fucking Cyberpunk 2077, they just announced DLC for that game. The DLC
Finally.
comes out, and apparently Keanu Reeves is going to be in it. Like, Keanu Reeves is going to be in the DLC. Which Keanu Reeves is, like, the only selling point for that game anymore, I believe. So, like,
That's really funny.
it's either... Well, that. It's either Keanu Reeves or the memes. Or the dick size customization.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about that until those words left my mouth. Like, that was...
That reminds me of like someone asking like the devs, hey, we need to customize, we need to like change sex positions and swap sex in the middle of sex. Would you need to do that? Huh? Would you need to do it? Come on!
Mouth breathing is what really sold it.
Yes.
No, but I'm looking at... Going back to Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm looking at this trailer, and he looks to be about to fire a magic blast, which looks like ice surrounded by random Japanese characters. He looks to be firing it at the main character from Little Nightmares? Like, it's just some random-ass demon-looking bitch in a raincoat, and I'm like, what? And then she summons Slender Man to come after him, and I'm like, what is this game? I'm sending the trailer for, like, I'm sending these trailers, like, into the fucking
Hang on,
Discord
no,
server
I'm
after I'm done
pulling
with
it
this
up
episode, but, like,
on my phone so I can take a look, because I have got to know.
the game's called Ghostwire Tokyo. Project Eve was finally fully revealed as a game called Stellar Blade.
Yeah?
It looks to be... That's what I was saying before the stream started. I said Devil May Cry-ass combat. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at Stellar Blade. But it looks to be like a lot of these games tend to layer... A lot of these games are about very hyper-futuristic Japan for some reason. We've talked about hyper-future Assassin's Creed and Japan, so now all of these games are just hyper-futuristic Japan for some. But what it looks to be is Stellar Blade, otherwise known as Project Eve. It looks to be like Nier Automata meets Devil May Cry, which isn't a bad thing by any means. Like, it looks fun, the gameplay looks nice, the graphics look amazing. My only question is why certain characters have jiggle physics, but that's beyond the point. I could answer that with the word Japan, so.
I can't argue that one, Brown.
The point is that 3 of these people have English names, and there's a lot of weird cyberpunk weapons. And I'm kind of into it, but I'm kind of confused.
I'm almost getting like a cyberpunky, like a cyberpunk Japanese BioShock feel.
From like what I'm describing, or did you like look it up?
From looking at it, it just like the hand stuff instantly makes me think of BioShock.
But then like, there's a Japanese character. Like the trailer appears to be in Japanese, from what I can hear.
Yeah.
But then like when it shows the name of the game, there's a Japanese character behind the word Stellar Blade. But then there's sub characters underneath the name in Korean. I don't understand. And it's exclusive to PS5.
Hey, Dom.
2023.
I have a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated to everything we've been speaking about.
Yeah.
My mom likes the build shoes.
We love the build shoes.
Bro, we love the build shoes. My dad would hate the build shoes. He would hate them so much. He hates when I wear mismatched socks. So he would hate the shoes.
I thought there was something I saw.
Well, you definitely saw something, but whatever it was, I don't know.
That's right. 2 months ago,
Uh-huh.
there was a gameplay trailer released. 2 months ago for fucking Slime Rancher 2. That's what I remembered.
I love Slime Rancher. I cannot wait for Slime Rancher 2. This reminds me of a dream I had. I remember one of my friends was included. I can't remember if it was you, Dalton, or someone else, but it took place in like Slime Rancher 2, and then suddenly it wasn't.
So, okay, so I'm watching the trailer. Victor's narrating the trailer.
Yeah, I saw it. It is so.
So, for those who are hyped about Slime Rancher 2, basically, the game takes place on an island called Rainbow Island. And it's apparently, quote, a prismatic paradise brimming with ancient technology, unknown natural resources, and an avalanche of wiggly new slime to wrangle. End quote. So
I am excited for the lore.
it's like it shows a lot of the rabbit slimes, and then it smash cuts to this like gigantic cavern of lava.
Oh.
Where I can see a bunch of slime, but there's like a bunch of lava geysers, and it's crazy. And then it shows like this little canyon area where there's like a bunch of new slimes, like the little anglerfish looking motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I'm looking at so like it shows the slime stock exchange thing that they had in the first game, and I'm looking at it. It is literally twice the size of the one we had in Slime Rancher 1.
Oh, like the plurt thing?
Yeah,
I expect.
Yeah, it's
I expect to
huge.
see,
I don't know.
like-
Oh, how big is this island gonna be?
I expect to see a certain British person exploiting the hell out of the game.
That big?
No, yeah.
No.
But no, yeah, it basically shows like you've got a much bigger like starting area now. Like there's so many like corrals and everything. The range exchange is still a thing. You're in this like gigantic ass like temple / greenhouse looking thing, which I don't quite understand.
That sounds rad.
But the gameplay looks like it runs so much like smoother than the other game.
I
Like,
hope so, because the
thing-
game gets a little laggy, and also it's just kind of a little clunky.
like this looks like pure 60 FPS right now, but also like the graphics and the colors and the way that everything is like flowing into my eyeballs as I watch this trailer is like exasperating. Like it's beautiful in like the best way that I can say that possible. And water doesn't instantly kill you this time, so that's great.
Water never is.
Also, there's more, like-
It was only if you fell into like the slime sea specifically.
But like there's like also, if you look in the trailer, when Beatrice walks into this little like stream that she's walking into in order to get to this like slime door that she's approaching,
Yeah.
when you walk into the water, you get like a water splash effect on your screen,
Whoa!
which is always a thing I love to see when I play games. I always love to see the water splash effects. Like if it's raining or if I'm in the water, I always love to see it. But like, it's one of the slime doors that would normally require a key, but you like just fire a honey plort into it and then it opens. And then it's like this big old like eerie cave bitch.
Yo.
And then there's a fossil out of nowhere. But it looks like there's a new way to collect resources.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do like the big machines that you had to in the first game. Like Beatrice just straight up walks up to a rock, holds the vacuum for a couple seconds, and then like some material goes into it. So that's good that they found a way to do the material collection a lot better. These little anglerfish looking ass slimes are just the cutest thing ever.
Bro, just all the slimes are like the cutest thing ever. What do you mean?
Oh, that's true. Is that a beehive?
Me.
Did you just suck out bees? Beatrix! Oh my god, wait! I just saw honey bunny slimes. Like, for like a couple seconds, they're feral, obviously, but like,
Ah!
for a couple seconds, she passes by 2 Largo slimes and they're honey bunnies.
Oh yeah.
The water effect looks so good. Like, it looks like paint, but like in a good way. The water looks like paint in a good way.
Okay.
Oh, and the way that the moonlight reflects through the glass, there's God rays! There's
Yo,
God rays!
that's so cool.
God rays and Slime Rancher!
That sounds amazing. I cannot wait. I am so excited.
I can also see in the shot where there's the God rays, I can just see a little bat slime off to the side, just vibing through existence.
Cute. Do you think if I get loud enough, everyone will hear me echo?
You're in the damn back room, so I don't.
I am so tempted.
Okay. So, a little bit on the unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
it appears to be Slime Rancher exclusive to Xbox and PC.
No PlayStation.
Meaning that I will have to get it on Steam. Because I can't get it on PS4 like I did the first one.
Frown emoji.
But either way, like, the general color palette and the general, like, look of this game looks immaculate.
Oh yeah, no, I was watching
And
it.
it's just like, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, what I was saying was is that I can see that, like, God, I lost my train of thought. But like, with the first game, it's like with both games really. Slime Rancher isn't a game that you play for the story. Slime Rancher is a game that you play because it's a game where you can wrangle up cute little thingies and just have fun.
Cute little globs of happiness.
But that said, I do have here a video of somebody breaking down the reveal trailer, and I do have some names for some of the slimes. For some of the new ones, anyway. So, as far as the ones going for returning, we have Pink, Phosphor, Tabby, Rock, Honey, Boom, Puddle, Fire, Crystal, Hunter, and Gold. As far as we know, those are the ones returning. Based on the photo of the stock exchange in the trailer. The new ones we have are the Cotton, I guess they're going to be called Cotton Tail Slimes, which are the bunny ones. We have Angler Slimes, which are the little anglerfish ones. We have the Bat Slimes. We have Flutter Slimes. And then we have Ringtails.
Ringtail. I don't remember what this
And I
is like.
sincerely... Ringtail is one of two things, because I've only heard that name applied to one of two things. It's either a lemur or a marmoset.
Mm.
And I don't think it's a marmoset, because that's a very obscure animal to base a slime on.
Okay, one thing that could also be possible is that now with the tabby slimes, there could be different breeds of tabby slime. And that's like a ringtail tabby or something like that, maybe?
Well, the tabbies had rings on their tails anyway, but what I was saying was it's like, that was kind of always the assumption with like hunter slimes, was that like they were cousins to the tabbies. I do now, thanks to this YouTuber man, I do now have a screenshot of what the flutter slime looks like. As one could expect, it's a slime with gigantic antenna and butterfly wings. Just vibing through the universe.
As it should be.
I do like that in this island, because it's called Rainbow Island, all the areas are like a certain color.
Yeah, it is so nice. Yeah, I'm looking at the screenshots.
Tars are very much still a thing in this
Oh,
world.
of course. Oh,
Cotton slimes. That might be what they're called. Oh yeah, lucky slimes are also still going to be a thing thanks to this trailer.
I
Um,
can't. I want to watch the trailer again at some point. Mostly because Victor is in it.
we also get new birds.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, I gotta. So we get the new birds, and they look like these little seagull little motherfuckers. But like, if you look at this screenshot that I'm about to send, it's just this pink angler slime looking derpy as fuck trying to eat the little bird.
That's so cute.
Not getting over the god rays, by the way, but also, oh no, can anglerfish do solar flares? That's not good.
Why?
I don't. I'm pretty sure that the slime has more intelligence than the freaking bird does.
It does.
True.
It looks like there's just static going on. It's just TV static.
No, here's the thing. That bird looks like the Me Channel theme is playing in its head, but it's the Me Channel theme transisted through an FM radio, so there's just static on the side.
And every few and it pauses at uncomfortable times.
Yeah,
But
it's got like uncomfortably long
did-
pauses.
So the names are Cotton, Angler, Ringtail, Flutter, and Batty. But I did find a picture of the ringtail slimes as well, and what they look like is the species of raccoon that Rigby from Regular Show is.
Uh-huh.
The one closest to the camera is a hybrid with the pinks, but if you look at the ones in the background, the main color for them seems to be brown,
Interesting.
and they kind of look like Rigby from Regular Show. There also seems to be another plort harvester like we had in the lab last time. Also, hello, Batty Slimes.
Smile.
They might actually be based on ring-tailed leapers still, but like, even so, they look like Rigby from Regular Show to me. They also look mischievous. Fuck, Ringtail Gordo!
What? That sounds so cute!
He's pulling up a screenshot from this article, but he has like the Ringtail Gordo in the background though.
Oh, it's so cute! Oh, that is the cutest little thing.
So, according to one of the developers, there is apparently a slime that does something that they cannot wait for people to see,
Uh-huh.
and it is currently that developer's favorite slime. Apparently, there was something in the first game, like, we think resources are well spent if there's a good joke, and he brings up there's a chicken cloner in the first game.
Yeah, there is a chicken cloner.
So, he says after...
You went
You're
quiet.
too far away.
So, he says, after saying the thing about the chicken cloner, there is a slime that does something that I cannot wait for people to see. It is my current favorite slime, but I can't talk about it.
Oh.
My guess is that it's probably like a super rare slime that anything that you feed it, it's a printer.
I think it'd be funny if there was a slime in the game where it's like, I don't know, like a chaos slime or something, but like no matter what you feed it, it just spits out a random plort. And like only once every 20 plorts does it spit out its own, and it's like super rare and like worth a lot of money.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's really funny, actually. Oh, that would be so
Batty
annoying for
slime-
plort collectors, though.
The Batty Slimes look to be just bright purple, and they appear to be like phosphor slimes that they only come out at night or live in dark areas.
Which makes sense.
They are bats. Gordo, magma place, weird caverns that are suspiciously foreboding, random jungle.
Oh yeah, this reminds me again. I had this. Do I want to talk about a dream I had? Like just at all, or do I want to just like not?
Go for it, I guess.
Okay, so I had a dream that I was.
We've gone on weirder tangents.
I had a dream that I was Beatrix, and that I was like, yeah, there's totally something cool over here. And this is like a total Slime Rancher dream. Except I opened everything up. I opened like this big ancient door. Because it was like, had, what's the place called? The ancient area where you get a bunch of flirts so you can open the door. I can't remember what it was called. But it had that energy. It was like, yeah, you had to get all these flirts to unlock it. And behind it was one of the glass desert teleporter. But it was already active. It was just kind of locked away. And then I went through. And then suddenly, horror game. It's a Slime Rancher, but spooky. I was still Beatrix in the dream. And then there was another slime gate. Another door. And it also needed, well, not flirts, but it needed, something kind of similar. But, the things that you needed were all really realistic, and just, in the game with, the flirts, it has the slime statues, but instead it was, statues of weird creatures you could find around. And I was like, huh. And that's about where the dream ended. However, via dream knowledge, apparently behind the gate was a giant flirt vault with a special dragon slime. Crazy.
The only thing that I can think of Plort Vault to be useful for is something that is not very wholesome. And I'm talking Rainbow Factory levels of shenanigans.
Oh no. I mean, honestly.
But also.
Okay, it had it had hundreds and thousands of every single type of flirt, even types that weren't in the game. So it was there was more than enough gold flirts, all that crazy stuff.
Okay, so this game, there's gonna be a rainbow.
There has to be.
Everything that is currently happening, there is no way. But also, I have found a screenshot within this video that what looks to be a Largo between an angler and a phosphor engaging in an occult ritual. And by that I mean, it looks like there's a ring of candles, 3 rings of candles just surrounding this little phosphor angler, and it's just vibing while ascending into the depths.
Yeah! It's cute. It's cute, well, being strange. Uh-oh, I don't like this room.
The cult of the phosphors.
It gets to have one. It's allowed. Ow! I got wimbied.
You got what?
I got wimbied.
I just hear I got wind. Okay, hold on. Another screenshot of the feckin' Plort exchange. So it looks like there's mystery Plort?
Uh-huh.
So okay, look at this screenshot. So what I'm looking at here is I can see all parts from the first game. All of them.
Yeah, there's even
everything...
saber flirts there.
Yeah, you can see Saber, Gold, Tangle, all of that. Then you can see a few of the new ones, but then there's like 2 question marks.
Yeah, that's so weird, actually.
Which like could be just like a placeholder asset or something, but like that's very intentional looking.
No, it looks so intentional.
Which makes me think that like all of the slimes are gonna be a thing, but it's like there's gonna be so many more new slimes. And like look at all these blank slots. There's 10 blank slots. Which means that there are gonna be 10 other slime types.
Oh, I really hope that you can like bring saber slimes with you. Like I hope they become their own separate slime and they're not reserved to just Largos. Because that was
Come to think of it, it's 12 other slime types because of those 2 question mark bastards.
yeah.
And like if they were placeholders, they would just be blank squares. So it's there's something. Slime Rancher is a very weak game.
Slime Rancher has so much more lore than anyone ever realized, and I am all for it.
So, okay, I'm looking at it now. The thing that he harvested from the beehive was buzzwax.
Yeah, sounds right.
Like that thing that was hard as fuck to get in the first game.
Yeah.
There's also primordial oil and jellystone. So, okay, I am right. It is basically like you don't need the machines in order to get the stuff anymore.
Oh, come on. I died.
You can just go around and collect the stuff for yourself, which is good. That was one of the things that very much upset me about the first game. That was one of the few things that very much upset me about the first game. Like, there were 2 gripes that I had with the entire game. 1, that there was not enough DLC, but 2, that there was, like, so much stuff that you required random chance machines in order to get.
Yeah. I didn't like having to gather things. Like, when it comes to getting to Victor's lab in the first game, what I always
Like,
took to doing
these little...
was just grinding like basic machines that took minimal effort to get.
See, like, my ADHD did not agree with a lot of the things that I had to do in Slime Rancher, but, like, I'm looking at the trailer for, like, the automatic update and all of that, and I'm like, I see these little robot boys that, like, do your ranch job for you, and it's like, it's good, and they're good little boys.
Yeah, the little bees.
Yeah, the little bees.
Little bees. I love them. They are so cute.
And they do your job for you.
Yeah, you just have to give them water.
They're like Namekian. Nobody but fans of Dragon Ball understand that joke.
I didn't get it.
Obligatory Goku is a bad father joke.
Ah, I see.
Ooh! Somebody made a mod for Spider-Man on the PC that allows you to transform into the symbiotes.
Ooh.
Like, it just kind of comes out of you and then replaces your normal suit.
Oh, that's cool.
And it looks really cool. It seems to replace the texture of the Kane Parker Scarlet Spider suit, judging by the eyes. But like, it looks very. I do enjoy it. I kind of want to get Spider-Man remastered on the PC. I just don't want to pay that kind of money for a game that I already have. Well, not the remastered, but I don't already have the remastered. Like, I've played Spider-Man 1. I've played Miles Morales. I greatly prefer Miles Morales.
Valid.
Miles Morales fixed a lot of the issues that the first game had with web swinging speed.
Oh.
like the speed first and foremost, the tricks, because the tricks in Spider-Man 1 while you were swinging was very hard to do. And Jesus fuck, I yawn. But
The smell of the dream flavored Coke, the Dream World flavored Coke, is more familiar than the taste is.
It's
Yeah, I'm going back to the Coke because I decided I was thirsty. I'm gonna take a sippy, and I regret the decision. So I'm just confused.
so.
But yeah, no, it's like Miles Morales.
Morales fixed a lot of the stuff.
You're so quiet right now.
The tricks.
Okay, so the tricks in Spider-Man 1, that's what I was saying.
Ah.
So the trick got fixed because in the first game, you had to hold down both, I think it was both circle and triangle in order to, like, do tricks. Like, you had to hold down circle and triangle, and then you had to, like, twist the joystick.
Mm-hmm.
In Miles Morales, all you had to do was hold down square. And that was so much fun.
Guess who's back?
Yo,
with the
welcome back
Wi-Fi.
in the last 2 minutes of stream.
1 minute.
Whatever.
Speaking of...
Okay, I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi went out. I had no problem.
No,
I had
it's fine.
no
I'm just teasing
way to
you. Don't
use
worry.
it.
Okay, speaking of 1 minute, I guess I gotta do this now. So, that is all the time we have for the day. I hope you enjoy. Next week, I guess, will be our conspiracy theory special. I hope you enjoyed. I am not sponsored by any of the corporations nor people that I mentioned in this video. Stream, whatever the fuck this is. Thank you for watching. Go follow us on all of our social medias. I don't have time to say them all. Don't cause too much agony. That's our job. Watch the world burn. We'll be around to light the flame. And, England, let people go to the doctor.
Yeah, do that. Also,
Please.
elbows of the queen. El hanging bows.
Elbows.